Hi all, my name is Abhijit. I'm a senior web methods developer. In our previous videos, we have learned about how to use predefined web methods flow services and how to invoke it from a web browser, and also use templates to display an HTML page, and also learned how to create a form in HTML and submit the form attributes to a dynamic server page and traverse the output in HTML format. So now in this video, we'll learn a bit different. Let's forget about the templates, dynamic server pages. Let's see how we can create a Java service. So for this, I'll utilize the same service which we have created previously using the flow service, and create an equivalent Java service for the same, and then run and see whether the Java service works correctly or not. So let's begin. So right click on the folder where you wanted to create the Java service, and I'll create the Java service. Remember, you can't create the same with the same name. See, it says the calculate mark service already exists. So let me change it as calculate student marks, and then click on finish. So in the background, it is the Java service creation is in progress. So it gives out some predefined values and all those things. And it has created some predefined templates and all. It says, I mean, it has created the void function, and it gives you the shared code area to write your to reuse those functions and all. Now in this, let me create the inputs and outputs for this. I want name, roll number, this language, fish, question, and in the outputs, I'll have it as total marks, grade, and percentage. So now save this service, and in so we have a functionality in web methods where it generates you the code for reading the inputs and outputs. So let me create, right click and click on code generate, and then I'll start this for implementing this service, and I'll click finish. Now there has been a code that has been copied to the clipboard. Let me click here and then copy paste the things that are needed. So if you see here, this is the predefined code that is generated by web methods when I clicked on implementing this service. So it has created all the inputs, and it is reading the inputs using this editor util.get string. It has created a pipeline cursor and all these things here, and this is the output structure where it says the output should be there here. And if you see here, it has created the string objects for all the services because I use strings. But when you wanted to perform integer operations in this, so you need to parse the string to be read as integer. So in order to do that, let's again do this thing, because we are going to enter the first language, English, science, maths, and social as integers. So let me create these things. Integer space fl equal to integer dot percent of first language. Similarly, follow the same for integer space English is equal to integer dot percent of English. Integer space science integer dot percent of science. Integer space math is equal to integer dot percent of maths. And then finally integer space social is equal to integer dot percent of social. We even have an option of without reading the services input, but I just wanted to show how do we convert the string into integers and use the service. It looks as a duplicate because we have already declared that the above the same value. If you can't use the same name as a variable in same variable here, so I just get it as this thing and read it as integer. Now since we got this converted as integer, let me uh, add these values. So what I'll do is integer space dot equals, I'll add all these values like say fl eng plus math plus okay. So I've added all these variables now. So this holds the value here as total. Now what I'll be doing is int is equals dot by total number of subjects here. So the total number of subjects are 5. So I'll enter by 5 here and then save. Yeah. So now what we got? We got the uh, total, we got the percent, and now we need to find the grades. So in order to find the grades, first we need to declare the variable of let's take it as grade. Now I'm declaring a variable g, which will hold the grades. Now let's calculate the percentage. If percent greater than or equal to 70, then let's say we'll say that distinction, right? And if percent is greater than 60 and percent is less than or equal to 70, then let's say this is first class. And say if percent is greater than, what do we give here? So we are giving as 70 and 60, 60 and this. If it is greater than 40. Let's give the hope as 40 and percent less than 60, greater than or equal to 40 and less than 60. Let's give the grade as second class. Right? And if the percent is less than 30, equal to 30, we'll say A is equal to A. Right? So now what we have done here. Our web method service has given us the string. It was reading defaultly created it as strings. So here what I've done is, since we are doing a math operations here, we can't add the string objects. If we add the string objects, it acts as a concatenated value there. So I wanted to parse this string as integers. So for that to happen, I've used the integer. I've converted this string objects into integer using the integer.parseInt. And then I've added the all those integer values and kept it inside a variable called dot, which will hold the total value. And after I got the total, I have done the percentage of this thing to get the percent. And then once I get the percent, I wanted to store the string values for grade. So I've declared a string variable for G here. And what I've done is I am checking the conditions, like if percentage is greater than or equal to 70, I'm giving the G as distinction. And if it is greater than or equal to 60 but less than 70, then it is first class. And a similar thing, if it is greater than or equal to 40 and less than 60, I'm giving a second class. And if it is less than or equal to 30, then I'm saying that it's fill. So now I got all the values stored in these variables. So now let me put these variables into output. So the output for our service is total marks, grade, and percentage, right? And let's keep it now. So the total marks is stored inside the variable called dot. Let's give this as dot. And the grade is stored in a variable called G. We give the variable as G. And the percent is stored in a variable called percent. Let me copy this and give percent. And somehow I wanted to store the roll number and those values also. Let me create some more temporary variables or temporary output variables, in to be precise. Yeah, I'll say student name. I'll give it as name. It's just mapping the input to output. Student roll number is roll number, right? And let me see if there are any compilation errors if I save it. Good thing it got saved without any errors now. See? Now, since it got saved, let us run the service and see. For this to happen, I'll just right click on this service, then run the service. Give the names here. Suresh. Then click on OK. If everything is correct, if our logic and all is correct, then it should give us the output. See? It gave me the output here, which says name, which is the input name. I'm passing the student name Suresh. Roll number is 78. So it has added the values to total marks and it gave me 400. And the percentage is greater than or equal to 70. It gives the grade as distinction. So the percentage is 81, which is obviously greater than 70. So it is kept as a distinction here. But if you see here, the total marks is displayed as integer value and all. The output structure is integer, but I wanted it to be a string variable for total marks and the same for percentage. So now what I'll do is I'll try to stringify this and see. So in order to do that, I'll go to that to string, converting the integer to string here, integer back to string dot to string, and then save it. Yeah, run as run service. Say this. See, now it is displayed as normal service here. So we can call this service from the web page also. Let's try to call it and see if that works. Slash invoke slash this thing. Let's pass. Name is equal to Charan. Roll number 3 and language 90. That's we got 90 and 90 got 30. So we got 44. So many subjects to be first language, math, science, social. What am I missing here? Is it English? This first language, English. And English is equal to 80. And when I click enter, manage. So it has calculated all those values and it has given me this output. Now, see, in this, we don't have an option to drop all the pipeline variables. So let me do it in a different way. Now, let's say I wanted to call this Java service inside a flow service. How do we do it? I'll say wrapper service. And this wrapper service will have the inputs as calculate marks. So I'll just copy these things. Paste. And student name, student roll number. These are my inputs and outputs. Let me just drag and drop this thing into this wrapper service. The Java service now it's getting called from flow service. So here I'm not able to see my pipeline. but I wanted to see what's there in the pipeline and how the mapping is happening. Go back to perspective because I don't remember my perspective previously. What was it? Just go to the reset perspective, click on reset. So it goes back to the default. So if the output structure, input structures of the surveys and all those things are same, then the mapping happens. This is called as implicit mapping because the structure of the Java service and the wrapper service is same, and it is mapping here. Only thing I need to map is the student name and student roll number, which in a way will come out of the Java service. And let's see how that things works. If it doesn't work, then let me create that variables inside this student and see. Yeah. And moreover, I just wanted to drop some redundant values, like say name and this. I want to map it. So I'll map and then delete it. I'll map those values first and later on only keep the values which I need. And only this variables here. Let me run this and see if this works correctly or not. Name, place. See now what happened. So these are the first languages, and this is the student name, roll number, total marks. The grade is this. So the Kamlesh has the Java service got executed and Kamlesh, and the inputs for this service are this student name Kamlesh. If you remember here, I've dropped the name and roll number. But how come we got the student name and student roll number in the output? That's because Java service we have declared some additional output variables which are not in the actual service. So these are the pipeline variables that are coming in. So that got mapped to the service implicitly, even if I didn't map it here. If you see, I don't have any specific mapping. Okay? I only mapped this. I just left the values as is there. So in the output variables, you see, these values are getting populated based on the Java service names which I've given there. Now if I go and boot this service via the browser, we keep all those values same. So this thing like we have name and roll number, now that should go and we should give a student name and those things. See, first name, math, science, social, English, student name and Charan, and all those things are populated here. This is how you create a Java service and reference it inside a particular flow service. And also you can call the Java service from the browser. Thank you.